This is Tiger Woods' launch monitor, the full swing kit, and it costs $5,000. When it first came out, all the rumblings I heard were all style and no substance. Translation, it looks cool, but accuracy, little suspect. Well, now a couple years in, with some firmware updates and some software updates, I have been assured that the full swing kit is the most accurate launch monitor under $5,000. And now I've had a chance to get my hands on it, put it through all its paces, and come up with my own opinion. Today, we're talking the full swing kit. I'm gonna give you the full view, what I like, what I don't, how it compares to other launch monitors, and if it is worth the $5,000 price tag. If you are in the market for a premium golf launch monitor and you're wondering if the full swing kit is right for you, keep watching. You're gonna love today's video. Two quick things before we get going. One, if after watching this video or while you're watching this video, you're still not sure if the full swing is right for you, go take our 30-second quiz. You're gonna answer a few questions about what you're looking for in a launch monitor, and I'm going to give you my best recommendation based on your needs. You can click the link below, you can do that while you're watching the video, and I think you're going to find it super useful. Second, the product links below are affiliate links, so if you click on any of them and you buy a product, I will get a commission. As always, I don't care if you buy one of these products or not, I'm just trying to give you the best information I can so that you can find the right products for you. So if that bothers you that these are affiliate links, feel free to bypass them completely, go direct to the website, you can buy it yourself. I will not be offended, but hopefully you get some value out of this video and it helps you make an informed choice. All right, so what is the full swing kit? So the full swing kit is a premium Doppler-based golf launch monitor. So what does that mean? It means it uses radar as opposed to cameras to measure the distance of the ball and measure your club statistics to give you theoretically accurate distances and information. There are definitely some pros and cons to the Doppler versus camera-based models we're gonna talk about a little bit later. But before we get into that, let's talk about first impressions. How does this look? What does it feel like out of the box? And does it have a premium feel worthy of its $5,000 price point? The short answer is my first impression of this product is excellent. So one of the things I've learned with launch monitors is some of them have really good presentation. So what I mean by that is the packaging is really well done. It comes with some nice bonuses sometimes, or in the case of this product, it comes with a spectacular carrying case. You see, a lot of launch monitors, even ones that cost $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, they don't come with any sort of carrying case. That was one of the things that impressed me so much about the Unicore iMini, is it came with this beautiful, big, sturdy carrying case that even if it doesn't affect the usability of the product, it just is a nice presentation aspect and it makes you feel like you're buying a higher end product. Fortunately, the full swing kit is similar in that regard. It comes with this very high quality carrying case. This thing feels very sturdy and it's very well thought out. And overall, it's a good size. It feels very robust. It feels very high end and it's a nice added touch and something you kind of want to see at the $5,000 price point because honestly, that's a lot of money. The device itself is substantial. Like even though it's not huge, it's got a really nice weight to it that makes you feel like, oh, this thing is legit. Like there's a lot of technology packed into this, which there is. One of the best features of this is its OLED screen. Not only is there an OLED screen, it's customizable so you can decide what you want to see. You can have up to 4 metrics. You can pick any of the 16 metrics that it has to be displayed here, or if you only want to see, say, carry distance, you can just have a big carry distance number there. That customizability is awesome, and the fact it is an OLED screen means that the screen is pretty much better than all of the other competitors at any price point, and that's something that's really cool. One other thing I'll note is there is a 4K camera built in, which is great. It doesn't affect your numbers and your distances at all. It's not used for that, but it is used to record your swings, and this is a feature that we're going to talk about in a second that I actually found myself really enjoying more than I expected to. So all that to say, first impressions were really solid. I've been really impressed by this device. Between the carrying case to the solid weight, the build quality, and the beautiful screen, everything's off to a pretty good start for the full swing kit. And the good news is they just keep getting better when you get to the setup process. So I've had some issues with the setup process and pairing to apps with different launch monitors, but the process with the full swing kit is excellent. You download the app, you set up your account, you connect it to pair it to the app, so the app is always going to remember your full swing kit, and then when you're ready to use it, you just hit the connect button, it's going to connect to the built-in Wi-Fi network, and within 20 seconds, you are ready to go. This holds true for both your initial setup with the device as well as subsequent uses. So the initial setup might take a little bit longer because you're downloading the most recent versions of the app, you're downloading the most recent firmware updates. So as with all launch monitors, I recommend you do this at home first before like getting to the range and being ready ready to go and realize you have a bunch of updates to do. But once you've done that, when you take it to the range, I mean, you are up and using this thing very quickly. Then once you're paired to that Wi-Fi network, it's going to give you a few options. You're going to tell it if you're using it out on the range or if you're using it into a net, and then it's going to give you an option to align the device. So it'll use the camera, it'll show you exactly what you're looking at, and then you can adjust the device to make sure that it's going directly down the line so that all of its numbers and trajectory and dispersion and all of that is accurate. One thing I also do want to mention about this review is so far I have only tested the Full Swing Kit outdoors on a range. I will do a separate video once I've had a chance to use it indoors. I'm going to compare it directly against a TrackMan indoors, so I'll be able to give you those numbers. So I just want to make it clear that I have not tested this out indoors yet, but that review will be coming soon. All right, we've talked about impressions, we've talked about setup, now let's talk about the user experience. And this is one of the areas where the Full Swing Kit really shines. It is a super user-friendly device. Up until now, my favorite user interface for a launch monitor and app experience went to the SkyTrack Plus because it's a super modern, easy to use user interface. Well, the Full Swing Kit is starting to give that a run for its money. It looks great. The design, the text, everything feels super modern and super clean. After you hit your shot, you will find that there's a couple second delay from when you hit the ball to when you get all of your data. And part of the reason for this is the Full Swing Kit is tracking the ball all the way. So what happens, especially with some less expensive golf launch monitors, is it's only tracking the ball part of the way, and then it uses an algorithm to give you all of the data. So because of that, it will give you data quicker. But for the Full Swing Kit, it's tracking the ball a much longer way, which is going to give you even more accurate data. And I will say, I mean, it's a very slight delay, so it's not something that has ever been an issue for me. It's just something worth noting if you're used to using a less expensive launch monitor and you're wondering, well, why isn't this faster? It's supposed to be more expensive. It's because it's giving you a more accurate result. So the user interface, for as much as I love it, depending on what your needs are, you may or may not love it as much as I do. Let me explain. The user interface is pretty basic. There's not a whole lot of customization you can do. You can adjust which metrics are displayed, you can adjust the order in which those metrics are displayed, and you can also do the same for what's displayed on the device itself. But there's a lot of features that other products have that the Full Swing Kit just doesn't. So one of those is a built-in shot tracker, where you are on a virtual range, it'll show you exactly what the trajectory of the ball is doing. You're not going to get that with the Full Swing Kit. Other devices will also give you a lot more visual data around what your club is doing. So what's happening with your path, your angle of attack, your trajectory. And so you can get great displays that really help you visualize what's going on. Again, you're not going to get that with the Full Swing Kit. When you're using the app, especially if you're using it on your phone, you can get those first few data numbers really easily, but then if you want to see additional data, you're going to have to scroll a little bit. It's certainly more helpful when you're using an iPad that has that bigger screen, but when you compare it to, say, the FlightScope Mevo Plus, which gives you all sorts of options for how you view your shots, how you view your data, you can customize it to your heart's content, you don't really get that customizability with the Full Swing Kit. And considering how expensive it is, if you're a club fitter or if you're a teaching professional and you really love to dig into the data, you're not going to be able to do that as much as you can with the Foresight products or FlightScope or Unicore, which again is a little bit disappointing. Now, for most people, this isn't necessarily going to be an issue. For me in particular, I want a handful of metrics and then that's just what I use. I don't use 90% of the stuff these apps can do. So for me, the Full Swing Kit has ended up being one of the most enjoyable products I've used because the interface is so nice, it's so clean, it's easy to use, and you don't have to mess around with all of that customization stuff because everything just kind of works and what you really need is right there in front of you. One of the few additional screens you do have is a scatter plot, so even though you can't see a shot tracer of your ball's trajectory, you can see a scatter plot of all of your shots for each club. So I can see exactly where all my pitching wedges are, I can see exactly where all my 7-irons, my driver, and so on. But one of the things the Full Swing Kit does do so well is being able to star a shot. With my launch monitors, I want to very easily be able to say, that was a good shot, that's what I'm trying to replicate. I want to be able to go back and look at those numbers and look at that data, or better yet, look at that video. With the kit, if you hit a shot you love, you simply hit the star button and you're gonna be able to go back and look at that data anytime you want, as well as get the video of that, which I have found to be super helpful. We're gonna get to the video side of things in just a second. A nice little touch that's related to that is when you're looking at the scatter plot overview of your session, any shot that you hit that you did star will show up as a star. So you can very easily see, oh yeah, that was a good shot and I did have a better result. It's nice to see that visually. Since we're kind of on the topic, let's talk about the camera. I have been very impressed with the camera that's built into the Full Swing Kit. It automatically records a video of every shot you hit, and this works really well. Immediately after you hit a shot, you can go to the app, you can get the video, and you can scrub through it. You can see exactly what you are doing. screen, you can slow it down to be a quarter speed of real time, which I've found useful as I'm looking at different swing moves, and if I think I'm doing something, usually the video tells me, well, you didn't do what you thought you were doing. But being able to consistently go in and review that video, especially next to the shots that I've starred where I feel like I did something right, I found that to be a really helpful feature that's also easy to use and intuitive. A downside of the camera is you can only use one camera. You can't pair additional ones via your phone or your iPad, and that also means that you're stuck with the angle that this provides. So because the kit is Doppler based, that means you're gonna need to have it 8 to 10 feet behind you, meaning it takes up a little bit more space than a lot of other launch monitors. You also need to make sure it's far enough back so that your swing doesn't get cut off. So if you're using your driver, for instance, you're probably gonna want it about 10 feet behind you to make sure that you can get that entire swing. So I love the feature and it's super high quality. Having a little bit more flexibility or the ability to pair different cameras like you can with the FlightScope Mevo Plus would have been a welcome feature. But all of this doesn't mean much if it's not accurate. And like I said, when I first heard about the kit and I started, hearing some rumblings of people's experience with it, it wasn't necessarily positive. There was a lot of people that were like, yeah, it looks good, but I've just found the numbers to be a little bit off, specifically the numbers related to spin. Well, here's the good news. I have not had any of those issues. Using this outdoors on the range, I have found it to be as accurate as any device I have used. And also more consistent, as I've hardly had any misreads. It really seems to do a very good job of tracking the ball. All of my carry distances, all of my spin rates have all felt exactly in line with where I'd expect them to be. And while I haven't done any super in-depth technical tests on the accuracy, I will say using flags and a rangefinder on the range, everything has felt right where I would expect it to be. Like I said, in a future video, I will be comparing it to a TrackMan indoors, and so we'll be able to get those numbers for you as well. But right now, again, we're just talking about using it outside. So people that are spending this much money on a launch monitor, they all have kind of different needs. Some of you, you're just going to want super accurate distances on the range and the flexibility of using an app or not and being able to use the built-in screen. And this, for that, I think is about as good as it gets, both in terms of ease of use, accuracy, convenience. It's awesome. But this is also where one of the downsides of the kit comes in. If you would like to use it indoors as a simulator, there's really not a whole lot you can do currently without spending a whole lot of extra money. So when you pick this up, it does come with access to E6 Mobile and 5 courses. But you can get that with like the Garmin R10, which actually comes with 6 courses for 1/10 the price. And because it's mobile only access, you can't use it with the PC. You can only use it on your iPhone or your iPad. So that's really going to limit what you can do with this as far as a simulator goes. It's kind of funny that this is the case because Full Swing is a simulator company. That is what they are known for. Full Swing Golf is one of the best pieces of simulator software out there. So the fact that there isn't a better way to use it with this when you're spending $5,000 is going to be a little bit of a turnoff for people. But as it sits right now, if you want to be able to use Full Swing software, you're going to have to get the Studio package, which bumps the price up to like minimum $8,500. That's going to include a laptop that they've loaded up that has all the right specs. You can't currently just download the software and use it on your own PC. You have to use a PC that you get through Full Swing, which is going to be a little bit of a downside compared to like, the Unicore, the Bushnell Launch Pro, or the GC3, where you can use a variety of software on your own hardware so you can save money or mix and match depending on what you want to use. I do want to point out, however, that I know that there are a lot of these things in the works. Things like the virtual range and the shot tracer, things like being able to use your own PC and be able to more easily access simulator software on this. I know these are things that Full Swing is working on, so definitely do your research to make sure everything I'm telling you is true when you are watching this. To that end, I've also got a written review of the Full Swing kit that I will link to below, so that is where I'm going to be able to update this easily when all of those changes are made. So if you're watching this 6 months after I published it, you might want to go swing through, check out the written review just to make sure you have the most up-to-date information on my experience with this, as well as new features that are coming out. So all that to say, let's sum this up. What are the pros and cons? Who is this for? What are the things I love about it, the things I don't? If you are looking for an easy to use, well-designed, super accurate launch monitor on the range that has a built-in screen and cost is not an issue, I think this is about as good as it gets. I love the customizability of the screen. One downside to it is, as you can kind of see in the light, is if you're doing this in bright sunlight, there is a little bit of glare. So when you compare it to the e-ink screen of the Unicore or the LCD screen of the Bushnell Launch Pro, sometimes it can be a little bit tougher to see, despite the fact that it's the most customizable and my favorite of all the screens. But it's worth noting there can be a little bit of glare. One other feature around the screen that I haven't mentioned yet is the fact that this also comes with Apple Watch capabilities. And that is a feature I love. I use that all the time on the FlightScope Mevo Plus, and previously that was the only premium launch monitor that I know of that would allow you to get data directly on your wrist. this does. It's an awesome feature, especially if you don't want to constantly have to be turning all the way behind you to be able to see your data. So if you use and wear an Apple Watch, that is definitely a big plus. The major downside to this device is you're not going to have a whole lot of customizability when it comes to the app. At this price point, you generally would expect to see all of your data any which way you want to see your data, customize, be able to compare clubs, be able to do all sorts of stuff, and you just can't really do this. They have recently added a new share feature where after your round, you can hit a button and it's going to export all of your data in a way that is a little bit easier to view, but this is exactly the type of thing that I would have liked to see in real time within the app, and they just don't have that yet. Along with the limited customization, you also have limited simulator access. So if you're really planning to use this for your home simulator, you either are going to need to plan on getting the studio package, which is quite a bit more expensive, or you might want to look elsewhere because right now there's just not a whole lot of options for the basic kit user. I think that's going to improve in time, but as it sits at this moment, it's just not quite there yet. One other thing we have to mention that's everybody's favorite topic is the subscription. But this time, I've actually got good news for you because the subscription on this is only $99 a year, and what that's going to get you is mostly more historical data about previous sessions, as well as unlimited video storage. So $100 a year to have unlimited video storage to offset their storage costs, that feels reasonable. Whereas you look at the Bushnell Launch Pro, it's $500 a year on a base $2,000 device. That's a subscription that is 25% of the base price. So at $100 on a $5,000 product, the subscription is only 2% of the base price. I feel like that's worth it. And if you don't care about the videos, then you don't even really need it that much. It's not going to have that much of an effect. So for once, I actually feel like the subscription is a reasonable deal and a non-factor, and is not something that I think is going to be a major consideration for most people buying this. So before we end, what's my personal take? Honestly, I've enjoyed using this probably more than any other launch monitor I've tested recently. There's just something about the simplicity of the user experience, and honestly, it's felt as though it's the most accurate of all the ones I've used, which is saying a lot because I feel like a lot of these launch monitors are also super accurate. So at a certain point, as long as things are set up properly, I don't think accuracy should be the primary consideration that you're making when you're looking at these launch monitors. Because all of these, the FlightScope, the Bushnell, the Unicore, the Foresight, they're all going to get you close enough. Unless you really need absolutely pinpoint accuracy down to the 10th of a yard every single time, these are all going to do the job from an accuracy standpoint. So I think it's more important to think about what features are most important for you, how are you going to use it, where are you going to use it, and what is your budget. So as always, as much as I wish there were, there is no one-size-fits-all launch monitor. There's no one perfect or one best launch monitor out there. It really comes down to what are your needs, what do you want to use it for, and what does your budget entail. So while yes, the Full Swing Kit does have some drawbacks. It does have some limitations. It can't do quite as much as a lot of its competitors, but the things it does extremely well. And if those are the things that are most important to you, then I absolutely recommend the Full Swing Kit. With that, my name is Sean Ogle. I'm the founder of this thing here at Breaking 80, where we talk about cool golf products and cool golf courses. If you got some value out of this, maybe consider hitting subscribe, thumbs up, drop a comment with any questions. I'm more than happy to help however I can. And remember, if you're still not sure which launch monitor is right for you, go take our 30-second quiz, which I will link to below. You're going to tell me a little bit about what you were looking for, and I'm going to give you my best recommendation based on your needs. I hope you have an excellent day, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace.